decisions have been made without our knowledge. And at this time, I think it's viable for me to determine that this is a detriment. This is detrimental to our tribe. As a people, council. This is something that you have brought upon yourselves. Right now, I'm claiming that there's malfeasance here. There is nepotism.
I want to say one thing, Mr. Chairman. I don't agree with recording in here. I'm not going to be part of it. There's what it
And if
is.
you leave, then you choose to on your own free will.
Yeah, I am. Because I'm not
I'm not
agree with
chasing you out of
recording.
here. You're
No, I'm
abandoning your
leaving because I'm not going to be part of it.
You're gonna abandon your post too.
I was not abandoning my post.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. You don't. You were to give the prayer. You are out of order. You did not request to be
As
recognized.
an officer of our council, you all are practicing malfeasance, nepotism.
But the meeting will be in
No.
recess.
If you guys want to go into
Secretary
recess,
Treasurer
that's
has
fine.
left.
You guys are leaving your duties
Has
too.
left the, any meeting of the
I
tribal
wanna
council
declare
must
that
have the secretary and treasurer
You are being removed
present at that meeting.
as a chairman. And I'm gonna step up and make that call.
That's malfeasance.
No, you're malfeasance
No,
right
that's
here.
malfeasance.
Right here.
No,
You're malfeasance.
I don't even know what you're presenting there, so
You guys passed them. How can you not know that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Why are you so objectionable then if you don't know what will happen?
Pardon?
Why is there such an objection and why is there such a conflict right now when you don't even know what's going on or what's being presented?
I don't know, but as I said, the Constitution states that the Secretary and Treasurer must be available and present at all meetings.
right
in order
now,
for the
right now,
conduct of
you
business
have-
by the Lord rules of tribes.
You have,
We're in recess.
go ahead, go in recess, you're gonna abandon your,
No.
yes you are.
There's no longer a quorum. The
I already
Secretary and
challenged
Treasurer has
that.
gone.
I relieve you
You're
of your
challenging
duties.
the
I relieve
Constitution.
you of your duties.
No, you don't.
When's it gonna quit?
We'll sit here, we're gonna have our meeting, we're gonna have an open forum with the people here.
What you guys wanna do?
We're gonna have an
There's
open
a
forum with the
process to
people
be
here.
followed. And
There
that
was a process that you did not allow.
To be
You
followed.
did not allow the election board due process.
Oh, yes, we did.
No, you did not.
We did.
There is
the
a
election
judge that was qualified.
Is the election board here?
Yes, sir? There was a judge that was qualified for.
No, it wasn't. No, it
Yes, he
wasn't.
was. He had his bars.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he
Not
did.
at the time of the
Did
swearing
you get the
in.
same letter I did?
Yes, I did.
You guys
What do you
put
say to
Roy in
that?
there for James. Why did you guys put Roy in there for?
Why did you not allow,
Hey,
This is not about an argument.
why did you not allow the election board due process?
We did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, we did.
You took it away from him.
No, we did not.
Just like we're gonna take the power from you guys.
No.
According to the election ordinances 6.3, board shall
Are you
invest
still
qualifications and candidates
Yes.
of the office and certify primary candidates by the second Monday of July election year, in accordance with the qualifications set forth in paragraph 6.4 of this ordinance.
Yes. That's true.
And the election board is the sole judge of the qualifications.
No.
Says it here in your
No,
ordinance.
not if they do not follow the process laid out for them. They are
If
not
they didn't follow the process,
No.
how? Why did they get passed to the general?
It was challenged twice.
Did the board make a decision and denied it?
The attorney's here somewhere.
You're the sole judge.
No, they're not. Not when they're in violation of their own directives.
We also have a resolution that you guys did.
Also, and the council is a candidate too. You can't give them directives when you're a candidate, just like
We
we
did
were.
not give them any directive. The ordinance was passed by the tribal council. Sonny, I mean,
I know.
I think that you were
I know,
involved
I
in
was.
passing the ordinance when we updated it.
Not that last one.
Yes, you were.
I was told when they made his drug test, they said, the council told us
No.
we need a drug test. See,
No, we did not.
That's conflict of interest right there.
We did not. Which
Yeah.
one of you, who stated to you guys that you have, by the council?
election board.
That came from the election board itself.
When I was running, you guys, they said the council wanted us drug tested too.
No. No. In fact, they allowed some of the people not to even do
There is enough
And-
evidence here that I find that we should have another election. You have a problem with that?
No, I don't have any problem with it.
Then let's have another election.
Make a motion.
But if we can conduct business, fine, bring it up.
Conduct business.
Yeah.
How can we conduct business when it gets heated up due to our program to head out and leave the office?
Our voice and be our spokespersons or whatever, but they get up and leave.
But you're not the only voice that they
I'm
represent.
saying you guys are our voice. Supposed to be our voice, but every time something
But you're
gets
not the only voice that you represent
They're
there.
not
They
representing
represent-
anybody's being absent, they're not representing anybody's voice being absent. You call the meeting to order, they should be here and we should have the meeting. The meeting has been called to order, that's their duties as secretary and as whatever it is.
You're out of recess, so I can speak as a tribal member. There was an allegation of malfeasance, and, you know, when you challenge everybody else on the council's right to be here, then it becomes a different issue. It's not the council in session. When you say you're going to remove the chairman, that is a threat without the chairman having been notified of what your issues are.
I never got notified when I got,
You know
when I
what?
was put on
You
here.
guys don't even follow half the rules half the time, so why should
I'm
I?
just saying,
When
I'm just
the-
I'm just saying, that's exactly what we're saying here.
I know.
You guys threatened us.
I know you did.
You threatened us by removing us from not allowing us to be able to be on the signature list. Why is that?
First of
That's
all,
a threat to our future.
first of all,
That is a threat.
no, first of all, constitutionally, you're not even named to be a part of it. You know, show me in the Constitution where you are that demand.
Show me in the Constitution
Is
where,
one mad that's a council then? Are you everything?
why do we need an election?
No, I'm probably.
Why do we need an
If
election?
they're involved, it should be involved.
We got majority, we can't do nothing. How, we can't do nothing. How's that? Where,
Robert's Rules and Order?
But if I...
Our parliamentary procedure, where are we following?
You're not in session, but, you know, 10 minutes ago, you were praying that we be one people and we all get along.
Right.
And then you follow that with saying we're gonna remove
Get up, walk up, address the issue. That's all you gotta do is address the issue.
Travis, all I'm saying is there was a mic that...
You have enough people saying the same thing as I'm saying, then how is that such a wrong thing to do?
I'm not judging. I'm not
To
judging that.
open meetings.
I'm not judging that.
The
I'm
pipe
saying
was
10
used
minutes
to
ago, we were
address
praying to be one
situations
people.
for the people.
10 minutes ago, we were praying to be one people, and then
How
immediately
can we
after...
be one people
immediately
unless it's
after
under
that-
your rules?
Immediately...
People wanna know why you see it,
Determined by you.
people wanna know why their votes were not counted.
What say the people?
see,
What do you want?
Back all-
So if our
You
votes
want
don't
us
count for
to
anything,
sit
why
like
have an
this
election?
divided?
I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm not
That's-
making a judgment. I'm saying there
Violation of our civil rights.
there is a way to deal with those issues that respects everybody, not following an opening prayer with our pipe by saying, I'm removing...
Where does it say that?
I'm removing...
Where
you
does it
from
say that?
office."
Show me where it says that.
Well, if that's teaching Kevin...
campaign letter.
Where's Roy in all
If
this?
that teaching...
Why is he
No,
not here?
Come on now, we gotta get along.
You know what I mean,
Wait
if he
now.
really cared about it, why is he not here
Everybody that prayed here,
Karen, why did they walk out?
everybody, but you guys,
It wasn't.
please, there was a pipe field here today.
Versus everybody else.
Please,
They're the ones that need.
please.
All I'm saying is address the issue.
There was a pipe ceremony
Why did they not
just
go to
here.
recess?
Those of you that say you follow this way, those issues have to be looked at and dealt with. I agree with you. There's a pipe sitting here. So,
Why didn't the rest of the council step up then?
that's a question for them, Travis. I can barely speak for myself, let alone anybody else, unless you're talking about.
Issue is, why don't you guys let it be on the agenda?
Out the door and calling a recess.
I think, Sonny brought a list of names and issues, and I said, Sonny, can you ask them all to write a letter to be considered for the agenda? I don't do the agenda.
Nobody told us that we had to write a letter. All you said was just bring up your issues. All you said was bring up our issues.
No.
Bring it up. That's all you said. We gave it to whoever. And all of a sudden there was a problem. You dealt with those issues with our knowledge. On your own.
No,
You weren't
dealt with.
You weren't here.
Well,
They weren't dealt with,
who
though.
has a house?
They weren't dealt with.
Does Teddy have a house?
You see, that's an administrative issue, and he should be here with his letter.
Does Teddy have a house?
I don't
He's
know.
living in the house. I don't know. I don't know what the personally.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. When you guys sit here,
But that is
you
not
say
a
that you
issue.
believe in that.
I know. That was
people's
not.
problem-
Then you want to lie. You want to sit here and lie.
No. To speak the truth. He presented a letter in which he asked for his money back. In which he stated, why
Get nothing out, get my money back.
now,
But that's not what you guys told us when they were sworn in. You said that you already put the judge in and the other two were disqualified.
yes, they were.
So then now it's a different story. He took his money
Because it
back.
finally came to the council after the election board refused to hear, even after, on the advice of their respective attorneys, refused to honor what the attorney told them to in relationship to the judge.
Was it allowed to go through primaries?
They did, or she did submit I'll take that back. Bessie did submit something to the court.
A lot of other people did too.
I don't know what happened.
No, I'm the juvenile, no, I'm not. I'm the juvenile clerk of courts in the courthouse. And I am the one that filed that petition for the court. And we wouldn't be here on this judge issue if the election board would have handled it in the right way. But no,
Well, they did handle it in the right way.
No, they didn't.
This is
They should have denied.
Judge, we
They
voted
should have
that judge,
acted on it.
that judge should be in there. Instead of, people voted that judge.
Yeah, but no, they denied my challenge.
He'll say he'll be
That's why we're here. Everybody's having differences and negative words towards each other. When I feel, in my own opinion, that it should have been handled the right way.
I don't
But it
think
wasn't.
word.
And they refused my challenge. They didn't even want to hear it. That's why we are here today. Because they did not answer my challenge.
Let her talk.
Your challenge was heard and responded to. You
Yeah.
gotta let her respond, so
Yeah, and you denied my challenge. That's why we're all here.
we heard it.
Yeah, you did.
We couldn't, it was out of our hands. So you're supposed to take.
Well, how could it have been out of your hands when you're the election board?
We did what we had to do.
Yeah, right. And that's why we're all here arguing about this. Everybody has their own opinion to say.
Well, this is the second time the council did that, with a judge in it that wasn't supposed to be in there.
Well, I don't know anything about the second time, but I know about this second time.
Paul Mueller was the first one.
The election board followed.
And I got my letters from the election board that they gave to me in regards to my response. If anybody wants to read them, I'll gladly share them with you.
But if the council,
I have that
if the council knew that they weren't qualified, they should have never allowed them to be on the ballot.
Yeah,
And then the
but
council
they
knew
did.
that.
That's
Well,
why
why
we're
didn't
here
they tell the
today.
election board?
No, put some clarity in what you're saying.
Because
You already said it.
We could not interfere until they
Charlotte,
filled their
do you have
obligation.
something?
But you said it. Mr. Chairman, you did that.
When did I request you to drug test us?
You guys will let me talk?
Yeah, I will, I don't like to be, you know. As election board secretary, I will speak. We wanted them to be drug tested because of the synthetic drug use. And I for one don't want a leader here who's on synthetic drugs, with impaired, make decisions that they're impaired. And as far as the chief judge, the election board went with, as you read in all your job descriptions, it states the qualifications. The election board went with working experience and knowledge of. That was in the very beginning. I don't have it with me, but and towards the end of it, the last 2 or 3 qualifications state you must have a Juris Doctorate degree and be state bar certified, South Dakota State Bar certified. But again, I say the election board went with experience, knowledge of and working experience anyway. That's what they based it on, or we based it on. And I'm not afraid to tell any of you here, and my election board colleagues will tell you, I voted with prejudice, which trying to cop out and make myself look better or anything, but that's what they went with, working and experience, knowledge of.
You voted for what with prejudice?
The qualifications of the judge, Kim Felicia May, chief judge. And then getting my personal opinion in here again, put my 2 cents in here. We wanted to meet again and refer this chief judge job description back to the tribe or the council to have it be put in the tribal personnel department and advertise it as a job. Because I think that's where it should be. Because the qualifications, if you go with the last 2 or 3, are very high, and our tribal membership, they're far and few between where they will not meet those qualifications. If they base it on those last 2 or 3 qualifications, which is straight in South Dakota. And so that's my opinion on that, and I sincerely hope that they would think about doing that, do it as a job advertisement, just as it is because of the qualifications. If they want them to have a Juris Doctorate degree or be a lawyer and have be in the South. Rights, because we have a right to vote for a judge. That's what it says in the Constitution and bylaw.
Yeah, change the Constitution.
So you're stomping all over our rights again.
Also, we
said
need,
it is an enrolled member.
Yeah.
it needs to be elected on, because we gotta have that separation of power from this tribal council to the courts. There's no recourse if somebody wants to take one of these council members to court. They can't, because that judge is appointed to the council is their boss. There's no recourse there. I know what you're gonna say.
That action requires a revision of the Constitution, really. And we
Our
tried
challenge
to
the
do that.
Constitution.
We really did
The
do that.
Constitution that we are going by is
In
null and void.
1980, the Constitution, present Constitution that was passed, requested that there be separation of powers. That was defeated at that time
By who?
by the electorate.
Does anybody remember voting on that?
No, well, you weren't even old enough to vote, were you?
1980.
How old were you? 12 or
Do you guys
15?
remember voting on that?
Appointing a non-tribal member to that chief judge position who rules over our election decisions, our policy making, and throwing our tribal members in jail is a huge attack on our own tribal sovereignty. What happened to the people in this room who voted for another tribal member? It doesn't make sense. You speak of protecting the lives, the rights of the people in your campaign letter, yet that judge sits over there with your approval, Mike.
Just never voted in by the people one time.
I was just giving a petition
Can I say something?
for removal.
for a job, last term, the last council members that were here. Boyd Gorno, I asked him for a reference, would you reference me for an assistant job? He said, no, Susan, we can't do that. We gotta get the best qualified, the best educated to be in these positions. So I said, okay. Well, if we did that, half the people in the positions that are in the positions they're in wouldn't be there.
If we're not gonna deal with what your real concerns are, you know,
Can you get the other council members back in here so we can deal with our concerns then?
I walked around with my sister Charlotte, took her on a petition.
you did not walk, you was in Montana when she got that done.
No, I was with you then, and we even brought it to council, and then we were sitting here, and then you guys told her,
We told her you get a list of letters from those folks,
each one of them, a state.
so that we can deal with it more effectively than just a bunch of names on paper. Did we tell?
Oh, why did that?
Yeah.
Now, why was that petition put out on us and dealt with by the council? How did you tell me that? We went to court, we dealt with it in court.
I don't know which petition you're talking about. If you're
That it was the one she said you guys forced her to put on us?
This one.
No.
That showed me, maybe they remember. Remember that?
You set precedents by that.
Precedence has been set.
I don't believe you'll find any place that this has been acted on.
It was acted on.
It shouldn't even have been brought to the council. There was illegal signatures under it. You guys allowed to hear it. I got,
Which one did they go? Mary Shields, Shirley Green, Norbert Grassroot, Mona LaRoche, Roberta Todd,
200 and some.
Mary Jane Gorno, Lana LaRoche,
Boyd Gorno
Boyd
signed that.
Gorno,
Boyd Gorno was a council member.
Mary Jandreau,
Those are all taken around during the working hours in the tribal office.
Lori Gorno.
There's more of them. We got the whole thing. You wanna look at it?
Yeah, I do. And I want to know what court this was taken to.
We made it all the way to the appellate court. You know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Mike, what's the matter with you?
No, I did not know
You
that.
know that you were over there,
Over where?
to the court.
Oh,
When they
no,
went to
not with
court.
this.
Oh, yeah.
No, I was not.
We dealt with it. We had to deal with it.
No.
You're gonna deal with another one too. This one right here. There's one in front of us. You set precedents already. You guys don't wanna deal with it. There's a 3 vote out there, which you guys hired a judge to hear that case. Right here. You wanna look at this?
That's a resolution.
It's a past resolution. Bureau signed off on it.
Office, elected position, you assume that leadership, and you get down to the job at hand. You don't run, you don't do anything. When I was in there, I had differences and we had some problems, but I sat there. I still sat there. I didn't run. They were elected to do a job. If they don't want to do their job, then what did they run for? Another thing is, according to policy or procedure, to recess a meeting, you have to have a motion and a second.
Nope.
That never happened, so to me, this meeting is still a meeting.
No.
I have an issue, I want to address it, I waited for this meeting, and I want to be addressed.
Sorry. That's not the way it works.
Under your regime.
No, it's not under my...
It's a dictatorship here, people. Can't you guys see it?
Knock it off, Sonny.
According to the Constitution and bylaws, you're supposed to have this meeting, so you guys are...
Sorry. That's not the way it works.
Under your regime.
No, it's not under my...
It's a dictatorship here, people. Can't you guys see it?
Knock it off, Sonny.
According to the Constitution and bylaws, you're supposed to have this meeting, so you guys are violating.
On this tribe. Personally, I'm related to half of this council. Most of you people
Well, all
know
this
that.
council
And
is-
for those of you
is
who don't,
blood
I'm
related,
related
for
to half
God's
of these
sake.
people on
All
the council.
descendants of police.
I was very proud to see that. Like, I know you don't care, but I was very happy to see that we have three little voices in Camden come together for our children.
You asked for
The
that.
school, I know, but we keep dealing about past issues, and I understand
Past
that.
issues,
I-
we didn't even get past the
We
first
can't even
one.
make the first motion.
That's
We
what
can't
I
even make
asked
the
for.
first motion
We
here.
already had 2 meetings.
I'm not even trying to argue with anybody. I
No,
wanted
I
to
mean,
see what the
I'm
high
just
school
making
had
a
to say
point
because
that-
that's what I was
I'm here
concerned
for
about.
completely different issues.
With what my kids, why my kids were here. I
We had 2 meetings already. We did.
I'm grateful
And
that
I asked
I'm
the chairman, the vice chairman to call a meeting.
all these voices. Also, as an enrolled member of this tribe, I wanted to hear these voices. I couldn't even hear anything. We started out with a disagreement right off.
And then what's
How are we gonna try to,
But it's okay
how
to
are
have
we
a
going to try to move
disagreement as long as
forward
we can sit
and
and work
listen to new
together on
stuff?
it.
Listen to new things and make progress. When are we gonna start showing progress? When are we going to, everybody try to work together here instead of being so negative and just
So you
talking over somebody.
agree that
and
they should
hear
be
what
back
each
here?
other's saying.
You agree that they should be back here?
I agree they should be back here.
We start a meeting and it gets heated up, we're going to recess. And how are we supposed to be able to voice our opinion about
And I
those
believe
issues?
that I heard
if
one of
we
the
keep going
gentlemen
into
say
recess?
they didn't
If
want to
we
be
get-
on camera.
If we get
That's
put
why they
into
left.
executive session, we can discuss it all we want, but nothing's gonna get
Well,
done.
he shouldn't have ran for council if he didn't want to be on.
Well, maybe we should have just, where was that all the other years? Had the meeting. Why couldn't we have done that?
Because the council would have let us put out on camera.
To show that we can
You're wrong.
progress as a
You're wrong.
community, as a tribe.
No, I'm not.
People.
That's exactly,
You can conduct business in the executive session.
Private.
you said we couldn't.
Ain't that what's sitting right here listening?
Yes, you did. You told me that. Are you losing it?
No, I'm not losing.
Are you losing it?
I'm not losing.
No,
Here, now all of
I
us.
specifically remember you saying that, the no business can be conducted. Yes. That day you said.
They asked for what to be
it went into
removed, it's
executive.
still being done, what's stopping you?
Remember, no business can be conducted.
They have
We're sitting here listening, so why are they hiding it?
I really am trying. Yes, I am. You are. What you did, why did you do that in the first place? I asked you in the beginning, why did you do that?
What's that?
Well, they should sit
You
down.
mean when you was presenting this stuff?
No, the signature list, why is that such a problem for you?
Well, maybe it's because of something we should discuss personally that
See,
involves...
why is that not
Because
involve the people?
Because it involves federal criminality on some things that were occurring in private meetings that were being held away from...
Exactly what I'm talking about, you see?
Wait, you just said you had a meeting.
You guys had a meeting on the rapid.
No, I said in meetings that were held away from here.
Who did that?
Come on.
We
You
did.
know
I don't know what
You
you're talking
guys.
about.
No.
Don't let them,
Bottled up inside me all these years.
Well, I'm
I had to
sorry.
get rid of a lot of hate, and I had to put that stuff aside, but you keep bringing this stuff up and acting like you're not going to die disrespected.
I probably will. You know, as much criticism that I receive, folks, I probably will.
I know Pumpkin was.
There's all the,
I do too.
there's all
Why
the
would you
minutes.
say that?
Because it was honest. Because of what?
can we get the other council members back in here?
I'm just letting you know that I have to put this stuff aside. And I have to come up to you, and I poured my heart out to you.
And I did what I could to help you.
That's besides the point.
No. I mean, the history is old.
Can we get the meeting underway?
That's besides the point. We have some issues here, and you're trying to insinuate that you're gonna bring some
But still.
criminal charges on me.
Why can't you go outside his office and talk to us?
You don't even know. You claim to know, you claim to not know, you're selective memory.
Okay. Well,
Can you get the other council members back so we can have our meeting?
You guys are probably the ones that chased them out.
That petition I told you about, when he came out, there's all the minutes to it. All So we talked about it. It was presented here. I got all the minutes.
You are looking at this, what's that, you
Is there up at the bureau? That's where I got mine. And then as far as threatening me with everything, Chairman Jandreau makes a statement for
Why does it have to come to fighting?
This is dangerous. What you are doing and requesting is danger and the potential of jeopardizing your position. You told me that how many times? You told me that earlier. Where's all this paperwork saying we can't?
Who's trying to
They're
fight?
recess.
Mike, you said we couldn't do that. We don't feel safe with the tribal attorney.
Well, we should all be able to speak our minds.
Everyone has to be your mind without trying to get beat up.
Could you at least tell me what the fault?
I want to hear what they have to say.
Can you get the other council members back home? We have a meeting.
Mike, how the other council members? Bring them back.
I knew all along.
Your little plan of having the secretary out, it didn't work.
Vice Chairman, we should have a meeting in the absence of the chairman.
Vice Chairman.
Did we get a copy of the
Election
school?
committee, my girls are on there. That's why I feel bad, why they have to bring them in there, run down. Maybe they went to school and graduated and got college degrees. And then some people, I said that to Mike, I'll say it again. A lot of people that they hired.
She didn't say
Oh, you gotta have a degree. He didn't graduate. Okay.
That wasn't her
I
that.
said, they forgot, I'm 86 years old, I said. And I know all these people. And I said to Mike, you got some people sitting up there that never got out of high school. They went to night school and got their GED. And then they have all kind of things going on up there. And then they forget about that and somebody else will go put in for job. Oh, you got your GED or diploma? I said to him, oh me, I said, I don't even give a shit. I said, I think I'm legal. I said, I'm full blood to Indian off this reservation. I was born and raised here. And I said, I don't care because I'm proud of myself. I don't care who has 10, 20 degrees. I don't give a shit about that. Because I found a boyfriend and got married. I didn't have to live with somebody and go somewhere else. And I didn't do that, so I'm proud of myself. And I think I'm legal. And I never graduated out of high school, but I'm